Right now on Capitol Hill, former senior intelligence officers are being grilled about Iraq and Syria and the spread of Islamic extremism. Former U.S. Ambassador to Syria, Robert Ford, an expert on these issues with long history covering them and representing our country in Syria. It comes as new evidence emerges that ISIS is experimenting with chemical weapons in Iraq and Syria. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Herridge joins us now live from Washington with details on this. Catherine, how strong is this evidence?
Well, Martha, two sources, including a doctor who was on the ground in northern Iraq last fall, say there is growing evidence that ISIS is experimenting with chemical agents with the goal of understanding how it works and then exporting this so-called recipe outside of the region. These photos were taken by the Kurds and shared with Fox News. We're told they show burns and blistering consistent with the use of chemical agents and their precursors. Significantly, the Kurds claim the agents are odorless, colorless, and absorbed through the clothing, where over several hours they cause severe burns and physical illness. Separately, a former senior FBI intelligence officer who was preparing a conference on weapons of mass destruction investigated ISIS in Libya, where chemical stockpiles remain, as well as in Iraq, and he reached the same conclusion.
I think if they get their hands on and continue to test with chemical weapons, crude chemical weapons, and particularly mustard, and we've seen this time and time again where their use of mustard, I think it could be a perfect testing ground.
U.S. government source said there was no reason to doubt the authenticity of those photos, Martha.
Pretty stunning. And you've got some new information also about the number of foreign fighters that are going into Iraq and Syria at this point. What does that look like?
Well, that's right. A year ago at the worldwide threat hearing on Capitol Hill, this is where the U.S. intelligence community lays out their global view on terrorism. The Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, said that since the conflict began in 2011, more than 20,000 foreign fighters from 90 countries have traveled to the region. 1 year later, that number has spiked, with a U.S. intelligence official confirming to Fox that the number has nearly doubled, and among that group, there are at least 6,600 Western passport holders from 120 countries. A key figure is the number of countries affected with the extremist ideology, now drawing followers from 20% of the world's nations. The president's special assistant on countering ISIS recently briefed reporters on the new numbers.
This is a challenge like we've never seen before. The world has never seen something like this. Upwards of 35,000 now foreign fighters from 100 countries all around the world, supercharged by social media and Twitter and everything.
Just for some context, that means that the official number has nearly doubled in the last year, at the same time that we've had this military bombing campaign. That said, McGurk says the administration does believe that they're seeing some progress on the Turkish border to contain the flow of foreign fighters, and then also, of course, in Ramadi. Martha.
It'll be interesting to hear what we hear about that tonight in the State of the Union. Catherine, thank you.